Hello and welcome to the Meet Our Team video series. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to one of our talented team members who plays a crucial role in driving our company forward. As the senior strategist, Nicholas Despopoulos brings a wealth of experience and expertise, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to chat with him to learn more about his background and his work. So, without further ado, let's dive in and get to know Nicholas. So, Nicholas, it's a pleasure having you with us today. Do you mind starting by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Thanks a lot, Theo. It's a pleasure to be here. Most important things about me, I'm a husband and I'm a father. I'm really kind of a generalist. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. It started off in Japan, right out of university, made it back to Japan where I started up my own private property management company. Through that, I made a lot of contacts. I guess that's a lot of where my background is. At the same time, I was doing some financial consulting, some tax advising, all focused at really helping foreigners who are living in Japan who had kind of special finance or tax needs and kind of try to fill that void that people had for services that were specifically related to them in that environment.
Now, how did you get involved with zenGate? I'm not sure if you wanna share a little bit of your story, because you were the person I think that brought Charles and Daniel in touch as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're talking very early days Cardano. I mean, so early that I had no idea what they were doing. One of the other founders of Cardano was actually a rental client of mine. So he was renting an apartment from me. And when he started on this venture, there were times that Charles would come into Osaka, and at the time Airbnb was a big thing. I was letting out some of my units on Airbnb, and so I was contacted to supply accommodation for Charles, and that's kind of how I became aware of his existence. Still had no idea what anybody was doing. But then the request eventually came that, hey, I'm looking for somebody who's got this skill set. I'm like, I know a guy. And that's when I introduced Dan. Had been originally a rental client of mine. I think I helped him get his first job in Japan. And and then eventually the gig with IOH, excuse me.
So you've been everywhere. You've done pretty much everything. How is your feeling now with zenGate? What is your role with zenGate, and what is your vision?
I'm very excited about zenGate. I mean, before I got involved with zenGate, Dan and I had tried to work out a couple projects before, but bad timing or other issues. Never an issue between he and I personally, just wasn't the right time. But then, I would catch up with Dan every once in a while because he's a friend of mine. And one particular time he says, I'm really stressed about this and I've got all these things that I have to do. I'm like, Dan, why are you trying to do all that by yourself? There's a whole bunch of things that you just listed that are on my talent list. So why don't I help you? He's like, that's a good idea. So that's how I got involved. And the more I learned about Dan's vision and the whole idea of bringing this technology that we're working on to a point that really helps regular people in the real world, whether they know about the technology that's backing the operations or not, that was, really the paradigm shifting, transformational potential of what we're doing at zenGate. Just, I've fallen in love. It's my new mission in life.
It's really exciting. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's really exciting. It excites me every day that I wake up. Do you mind telling us, describing a little bit about your role in the team?
Sure.
Just so everybody can get an idea about your specific role.
My title is senior strategist. It's my job to connect the dots I mean, so working in financial services and working in real estate, there's a lot of contract work, there's a lot of detail. And so there's a lot of that side of the business, the organizational side of the business that I'm involved in. So where are we going to incorporate? What other jurisdictions are we going to open an entity in? What entity are we going to have do what? How are we going to handle taxes? Are we going to run cost centers or profit centers? Those kind of things. I handle that kind of analysis and that kind of thinking. But at the same time, I mean, in the couple meetings that we've had together, that I'm the guy who's looking across all fields of operation and trying to keep all the dots connected to make sure that we're all moving in a cohesive direction. So I guess that's what a strategist should do. And then in the end, I bring these ideas, I bring my thoughts, my analysis to Dan, and he and I and the rest of the core team, we make most of the determinations together. But of course, he's the CEO, and the ultimate determination is his. But we really make a lot of the determinations together, which feels great.
And I think this is, yeah, exactly. This is a great thing to have in a team and a company as a whole. Nico, what is it that you find interesting and exciting at the same time about the blockchain technology and the real life solutions that it can bring to our day-to-day life in general?
Well, honestly, I'm a late adopter for a lot of things. My first smartphone was the iPhone 4S. Okay, so I was really okay, and I'm still there are quite a few things that concern me about crypto, quite a few things that concern me about blockchain technology that I've kind of stayed on the outside of it for a long time. What intrigued me about what we're doing at zenGate is that finally taking these technologies and giving them use cases for practical applications, providing business solutions. And what's most exciting about it is that these technologies are so cutting edge that they require everyone in the world to basically rebuild their infrastructure. And so Dan talks a lot about helping developing economies leapfrog into the future, that by adopting these technologies before the developed world, they're actually going to be in a more advanced place than the developed countries that are now having to incorporate their legacy systems into a new world that they just woke up to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is a big point, trying to rebuild the infrastructure, but at the same time having, this new cutting edge technology leapfrogging you all the way without having to do anything, because you didn't have anything in the, to begin with.
Right.
So something that it's actually quote unquote negative can actually turn into something really positive and exciting about these people.
It's back to my Japan days, it's the technique of Tai Sabaki, rotating to take your opponent's force to use against him. I mean, it's exactly this, taking what looks like a disadvantage and making it into your victory,
your real advantage.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nico, you've shared a lot of information about you. I've learned a lot on this call that we're having. If I may ask you the last question for our interview, where would you see, let's fast forward 3 years from now, where would you see zenGate and our MVP PalmyraComDex?
So it seems you're asking the right guy. I'm the senior strategist, so that's part of my job, is to look forward and help give direction. And really what I'd like to see here in 2023, we're getting all the data from our potential clients to have product to market fit. And I want to see us go live in early 2024. And with this use case of tea in Sri Lanka, I want us to be able to prove that the system works to the extent that the Sri Lankan government cooperates in our mass adoption across other industries in Sri Lanka. We're already looking at cinnamon production and other spices. There's gems, our big business in Sri Lanka as well. And then on top of that, once we show that we're successful in Sri Lanka, we'll have the pressure that we place on the same industries in other countries to adopt the system as well. And because they'll be at a disadvantage to those people operating out of Sri Lanka. So you're producing tea in India and you've got a cost, you have somebody who has lower costs running their business in Sri Lanka, you want it too, and you're going to start helping to lobby your government to be a stakeholder in Palmyra as well. And so I'd really like to see us at the end of 3 years expanding into multiple markets across the SAARC region and maybe into other Pacific Asia, South America, maybe Pacific Asia, South America. That's a little bit further in the timeline than 3 years, but still, that's the vision, that's the direction.
I'm really excited and really looking forward to see where we're going to be in 3 years' time from now. Nico, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I know the community learned quite a few things about you.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon. I mean, we're going to Sri Lanka later this month for workshops. We're attending the World Tea Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada at the end of this month too. So keep an eye out for a lot of exciting news coming up just in the next 30 days, not to mention the rest of the year.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be quite exciting things happening in the next few weeks. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this interview with Nicholas. And we're going to catch up with you again soon. Cheers.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.